Hey guys, and welcome back. Today I want to talk about why a Synology could really be the sort of thing for your small business to get behind. Too many of you out there have got your data spread across different resources or have no real centralized platform to conduct your business around, and with the importance of data, this can never be underestimated. So today I want to talk about why a Synology NAS might be the best unit for you. I am going to talk about other brands in other videos, but today I'm just going to put the focus on Synology for their system, because right now they are the very best in terms of software for both home and small business users, as well as a lot of enterprise stuff that we'll also talk about as well. But without further ado, let's make our way to the screen. Straight away off the bat, one of the main reasons that Synology's NAS is one of the best out there for business is because of DSM, Disk Station Manager. This is the user interface of your NAS, and from here you can install applications, you can create collaboration spaces, you can do everything for downloads, uploads, backups and more. It's more than just a simple file server. If you are looking for file server maintenance, there are lots of things you can do on this as well as file hosting and of course file sharing. But what the main point I want to get over to you guys today during the course of this video is simply that if you are a small business with between 5 and 10 members of staff, or even a bigger company with 25 to 50 to 100 or more, there are loads of things in the Synology DSM platform that could benefit you and your business. When you buy one of their NASs, you're of course buying hardware, but unlike a number of brands like HP and Dell servers and more, this gives you a great software backend that is far more usable in a more modern data-aware age. Now, you've probably got a lot of tools that you use in your business right now. Microsoft Word, you might be using Skype for communication, you might be using Backblaze or offline backup tools, you might be using Outlook from Microsoft for your email, you might be using a CRM system like Sugar for your customer information and all that kind of stuff. What I'm here to show you today is that Synology have all of these applications on their NAS platform. They're all owned and branded by themselves, and of course they can all communicate with one another. So straight away, let's talk about that business of file management. They have an application called, sorry if there's a slight delay here, it's because of the screen recording software. They have something called Synology Drive. Now Synology Drive is their alternative to Google Drive, Dropbox and more. It's a one portal access point that lets you access all of your files for both you, your users, your team and everyone, and from here you can distribute files very, very easily. Now this is their main user interface, and from here you can share files with selected users with password encryption and more, as well as open all kinds of manners of files within this one window rather than using individual applications, something that you get done very well with Google Drive, and Synology Drive does it just as well. With regards to adding users, because of course you're going to be adding lots of users, be they staff, be they managers or more, and creating users and an entire collection of accessible individuals is really, really straightforward. You've got the user section here that lets you add individual users and give them their own rights and privileges per user, and you can everything from their name to their privileges. So we can just call this guy Adam, you could call him mailroom, enter an email address if you've got it, you can generate a randomized password if you like, and that same password can then be used there, whereupon you can say what applications they can use, which files they can access and more. So all of that you can set up really, really quickly. I won't bother finishing that one up, but what you can also do is create user groups, and user groups are teams of people like departments, and that means rather than giving everyone individual levels of access, you can then use this group system to give departments access and then move users between groups and then have complete access to the files and folders. But having simple access isn't enough. Businesses revolve around different ways in which data is handled. So next, let's talk about Synology Mail. Now, NoteStation is the alternative, once again, to Google Mail, to all those different mail clients. And what it does is let you add all existing email accounts or create brand new email accounts within the NAS, and therefore have a complete mail server for your users. And you can use this with Mail Server and NoteStation combined. So you can create an entire catalog of email addresses for contact on the outside world with your NAS. But you will have to go and enter some of the web settings earlier on. But again, if you've got a business, chances are you've already done that already, which you can then migrate over to the NAS. From there, these different email accounts can then be group monitored by admins, or each individual user with their own rules and regulations with regards to sending can all be set up, with the added bonus that internal messaging between users won't really have a file size cap within the business because the NAS already has all the files. Talking about communication, we can talk about Synology Chat. Synology Chat gives you the ability to rival things like Skype and WhatsApp and have all of your users that you've created group access credentials for earlier, as well as outside users too, to communicate, send messages, send files, create deadlines, and create tasks. Also with the NAS, you can have an admin console that oversees the lot, as well as an iOS and Android application that lets you communicate with users, not just in the network on the NAS, but over the internet and on their own devices. Moreover, between this, when you send files back and forth and create these meetings and do all these different kind of communication and collaboration tools, you've then got two things you can do within the NAS. One, you can open up their own dedicated calendar application. And the Synology calendar application, much like Google's calendar, much like Microsoft Outlook calendar, lets you keep track of everything. And Chat and some of those other applications can then have data migrated between them, which then you've got an overall interface of everyone's schedule who you allow in a team, all displayed on this calendar. And moreover, on the NAS's application center, one app that I haven't installed here, that will install here in the background for the rest of the video, is a NoteStation, and it's effectively a collaboration point where everyone can work together with a big pin board of tasks to do at any given time, and then users can add or remove stuff, make recommended tasks, and send tasks to different users, once again using Synology Chat or using the NoteStation interface. Synology NoteStation is this ability for all of your users to have shared tasks. You can create a shared area of a to-do list that you can spread across different users, and once again migrate these between other users. So other applications, I should say. Now, moving forward from NoteStation, what we should go back onto that issue of CRM. If you are a sales or business user, chances are you're going to want a good customer relation manager. And what this relationship manager, and what you've got included with your NAS is the ability to install vTiger as well as CRM. These are two of the easiest lightweight CRM systems out there and give you the ability to keep track of customer communication as well as conversions, more and more information about your end users, and ultimately give you the ability to create better relationships with your clients and your customers, and with your staff having all of the tools that we talked about so far. That means that you've got a great back end for your business to rotate around. Now, let's move over to security. Now, security is a big thing when it comes to business with all your assets, be they your staff, be they your hardware, be they money in the drawer. Synology have included a comprehensive and impressive surveillance application. This surveillance platform, known as Surveillance Station, gives you the ability to add cameras, network cameras called IP cameras within your environment, and then these cameras are then recording data to the NAS. And then if there's an alert such as motion detection during the night, the day, or any one of many rules that you can set up, the NAS will notify the users you want, as well as synchronize with your existing security systems. Now, the surveillance platform is very up to date, and right now you can see a picture of me on the screen with a camera that we've already got installed in this recording area. The lips are out of sync, but the point is still there. And this bespoke application gives you an enormous amount of control with regards to security patterns, between synchronizing with your existing platforms and more. And Synology's application even lets you use old USB or mobile phones as cameras if you are on a shoestring budget. And they've got loads of applications that suit home and business users alike. Sorry, my network is very busy at the moment. And all of these are really, really good. Look at some of these down here that may suit your business with regards to your security setup. Now, stepping out from security, we can talk about some of the more enterprisey details. Now, actually, before we do that, one last thing I didn't get to talk about there was Synology Office. Now, Synology Office, I can't really show you directly here. Synology Office is the alternative to Google Drive, and it gives you the ability to open Word docs, Excel docs, and more as you would in Google Docs or Microsoft Word, and edit them live and then save them to the NAS. In fact, Google Docs and Synology Office, the word processing area, are near enough identical. And I've done lots of tests in previous videos, but ultimately it means that your business won't need to fork out for Windows licenses for that word processing, because remember, you've got your email client, you've got a communication client, you've got a calendar client, you've got Synology Drive, and now you've got Synology Office. And finally, before my sore throat gives out completely, we can talk about those enterprise level things. Now on this NAS, the following applications will run, but they won't run as well as they might on a more powerful NAS, so you should bear that in mind. That's why this has moved into the enterprise bracket. The first one is Virtual Machine Manager. Now say you've got some old PCs knocking around in your office, really out of date computers, ones that are just no good for actual day-to-day use. What you can do is create a virtual machine. That is a virtual computer that lives on the NAS, and then you can use those crummy old computers to access the virtual machines. The benefits are, one, that you can have a much more centralized platform for all of your data, with all the individual users having all of their data and all of the transactions monitored and therefore recallable. Two, it means these machines could be accessed anywhere, and it's much easier for mobile deployment to have virtual computers that can be accessed via a web browser or directly using a number of the Windows settings to directly boot a VM from the NAS, give you the ability to run a virtual network from a single NAS. But once again, you will need a far more powerful Synology NAS like the DS3617XS or some of the more enterprise rack mounts. The other thing is Active Backup. Now, Active Backup is just phenomenal, Active Backup Suite especially. And what it does is give you the ability to back up numerous devices with their own protocols to your NAS via a single user interface. This is one visible point where you can add a bunch of cloud, add a bunch of individual devices in your network environment for the NAS to back up to, and have a single access point to back them up from. And the advantages to that are just cannot be underestimated. Everything from PCs to virtual machines to other servers could all be backed up to the NAS with far more bespoke settings and far more bespoke schedules too. Don't get me wrong, using CloudStation and CloudSync, you can synchronize all of the other devices in your environment on time-managed devices, as well as using cloud migration to back up the NAS to the cloud, or vice versa, and finally attach USB storage to back up areas or the full storage of that NAS onto an external drive. So again, loads of ways to back up, and ultimately I genuinely cannot see ways in which you cannot run a whole business from a NAS. All of the software and tools are made readily available to you. They're all included within the price, and only in very rare enterprise occasions will you ever need to spend more on licenses. And with things like RAID configurations to protect your data in the event of hardware failure, there are more and more ways in which the small business user can migrate their entire business onto a single NAS. Thank you so much for watching. I'm going to wrap things up here. I'm going to be moving on to another brand shortly, more than likely QNAP or Drobo, but for now, right now, in terms of software, Synology are pretty unbeatable when it comes to business users who want to use their software. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next video.